up, Ramley? What is up, everybody? So in today's mini, how would you say, podcast, just catching up with you guys. It's been a lot of nothingness, and then the other day, the Rams ended up trading Brandin Cooks to the Texans for a second-round pick. Now, I think that it's a good move for the Rams. We need more draft picks. Brandin Cooks is a good player. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player. He played great for the Rams when he was healthy. Unfortunately, he got hurt a lot. But when you get hurt, you're not available. So I can see why the Rams got the best return that they could. I don't think there was a team willing to give a first round, not even a late first round, especially with the contract that he has. I don't think teams were willing to, give that up. So getting a second, a 57th to be exact in the draft, while we already had the 52nd. So that's 5 spots ahead. The Rams ended up doing good. I think the Texans got a decent, wide receiver that, as long as he's healthy, he's a good playmaker. And then the Rams have another pick that they can maybe add more talent to the team, and more talent to the team really help the Rams in the long run. And I'd rather have a functioning system, like a player that you can plug in, an offensive lineman, a linebacker, solid player, than having, I guess you would say, a star wide receiver that gets hurt a lot. So that in itself is a win for the Rams, and I'm pretty happy about that. But now when you're looking at the draft, it changes things a lot, because now you have more possibilities to get a better roster going, plug in another player at a position, player that might fall in the second round could be a good steal for the Rams. We're still late in the second, but how would you say? We're still late in the second, but you still get a good, solid piece for your team. And the Rams need offensive linemen for days. We still have an opportunity to get an edge rusher at that position that's pretty decent. And I'm going to start putting up some mock drafts for you guys, just because I think I have seen a couple good ones on Twitter. I've done some. They're actually pretty fun. If you go on, just go on Google, put draft simulator, and you'll find one. And I feel like I always get a good draft, but I think the way that I'll draft compared to the way the Rams will draft are two different things. Now, there's a ton of players that will be there in the mid rounds, just like Cooper Kupp type players, John Johnson III type players. So there's going to be a lot of solid pieces. It's just whether the Rams, get unnecessary draft picks. Because we should have drafted a center last year, and we ended up drafting like three or two tackles when we probably shouldn't have. We should have just got an interior lineman. Now, things like that happen. We end up drafting a lineman that we don't even use for a year, or maybe we would end up drafting a linebacker that gets hurt. So things like that happen. And I think the Rams with Micah Kiser will be fine. But it's who's next after Micah Kiser. So that's when you think about, okay, maybe we can go and get another decent run stopper that might be okay at pass coverage, but as long as he can stop the run, that's all that matters. Stuff like that. I know John Johnson. John Johnson's going to be back. He's a stud. Him and Taylor Rapp are going to be great. A great safety combination. Might be the best safety combination next season coming up. But I want to talk about Josh Reynolds, because I'm going to do a highlight video of him. I'm also going to do a bunch of other highlight videos prior to the season starting. But I want to talk about John Johnson as a player himself. He's waited a while to get his time. Hopefully he's able to get his opportunity on the outside. He's more of a wide receiver too. I don't know how much that's going to affect Robert Woods also, because Robert Woods is to me, I always thought of Brandin Cooks as our number one receiver just because of his speed, and he can run decent routes. But Robert Woods is always like he's a better polished route runner, and then he also has better hands, I think, than Brandin Cooks did. So this actually might be a blessing in disguise. I know Robert Woods is a pretty good wide receiver. Then you have Cooper Kupp in the slot, and then you'll have Josh Reynolds. So to me, Josh Reynolds is more of a big body receiver, a red zone threat, and then he's also has decent speed down the field. His route running is not as good as Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, but he's still a decent route runner. So hopefully he gets a full season. But I would not be surprised if the Rams were to go wide receiver early in the draft, just because of how good some of these wide receivers are in the draft and how good some of these can actually fit in the McVay system. And I also wouldn't be surprised if the Rams were to use an early, pick on a running back, because I mean that to me would mean like, okay, we'll just get a cheap running back that's probably going to be just as effective as Todd Gurley was when he was good. And there's like 2 to 3 that might be up there. I hear like there's a Zach Moss guy that's a power runner. Then you still have Jonathan Taylor and then J.K. Dobbins. Like those are the guys that I would see the Rams, if they were available, might buy and take a running back really early. Even though we don't need one, I still think Darrell Henderson will be fine. I see him as Dalvin Cook, basically the same player. Just Dalvin Cook is proven, and Darrell Henderson has shown flashes of greatness, but not really quite consistently as we would like. But with whole Josh Reynolds situation, I like Josh Reynolds. I always liked him since we drafted in 2017. It's about to be 2020, you guys, so he's 4 seasons in, and I think his rookie deal ends this season. So maybe they might just go with Josh Reynolds all year just to save money and then see what happens after that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if for some reason they see like, okay, well, we don't need Josh Reynolds anymore, let's trade him. That's a possibility. I also think that Gerald Everett could be a guy that we might end up trading. So don't quote me on that. I just feel like since you already have Tyler Higbee, since you already have this and have that, I would not be surprised if that were to be the case. Now, I still think the Rams have a good opportunity to get a solid draft this year. We also ended up getting a new kicker. I can't say his name, but I know his first name is like Liram, but he's from the Canadian Football League, and I heard that he's a good kicker from that league. And also the Rams ended up getting another kicker from the XFL. So they probably did their homework. They said, okay, we need a kicker, let's get these guys. And hopefully it works out good for the Rams, because letting go of Greg Zuerlein is a big deal, man. Greg won his games in the McVay era, and the Jeff Fisher era. Him and Johnny Hekker were like the MVPs every year. And then when we got a good team going, then you see Greg Zuerlein, winning games, important games with the Rams. So I just felt like I had to say something about that, because Greg the Leg is a phenomenal kicker, and the Cowboys got a real one, man. They got a good coach. They got a good special teams coach, and they got a good kicker. But we got to move forward. We got to move on. Hopefully, we stay as good on special teams as we have. After we ended up letting go of Greg Zuerlein and then picked up 2 kickers, I don't see us going after one of the best kickers in college football from Georgia. I think his name is Rodrigo Blankenship, something like that, or Robert Blankenship, either one, Rodrigo or Robert. He was actually a really good kicker for the Georgia Bulldogs, but I don't see the Rams taking him anymore because of the fact that we ended up getting another 2 kickers. So no need to go and draft one late in the draft, but he's going to be a good one. And the only thing that I have left to say is, hopefully you guys stay tuned. I'm going to be making more videos, more mock drafts, and touching up on some of the subjects. I'm always on the go, and unfortunately, because of the whole COVID-19 thing, I did get laid off from my night part-time job, but I'm currently working on call now at my full-time job, so that kind of messes up my whole video making schedule. And then I'm thinking about doing some type of Postmates Grubhub service thing just for extra cash, just for right now. So hopefully you guys stay safe. Hopefully you guys keep your jobs. It's kind of hard for everybody economically, and we're just doing the best. And supposedly our Trump checks should come in the mail pretty soon, or hit your direct deposit. So try to save as much as you can, because times are hard. So let me know what you guys think about the Rams. Leave a like, leave a share, leave a comment. Until next time, you guys, go Rams.